For those of you following our podcast, thank you. When we first decided to create a podcast a few months ago, it seemed daunting to say the least. Then we discovered Social Chameleon. They helped us get launched, created our trailer, edit our intros and outros and the audio for each episode, created the cover art for the show, write our episode show notes, and even do all of the distribution. This has allowed us to make the show available to you on the most popular podcast apps. So this is just a quick shout out to say thanks to Social Chameleon. Mills Knows Bills can focus on what we do and they handle the rest. With Social Chameleon, it's podcasting done for you. Feel free to check them out at socialchameleon.us. Hi, I'm Mills. Let me share a little about how I got here. I started my financial journey fall of 2014 when I found myself with only $1.50 to my name. So clearly, I understand the frustration around money mismanagement, struggling with where to start, and the courage it takes to take ownership of your finances. Now I'm a financial coach, speaker, author, and the founder and owner of Mills Knows Bills, where I have the opportunity to teach individuals and businesses how to manage and master their money within 90 days. On this podcast, I will teach you how to stop living paycheck to paycheck, how to pay off your debt twice as fast, and how to reach your financial goals. This podcast is meant to make managing your finances accessible. So if you find that your finances are controlling you, or you simply have no idea where to start, this is the place for you. Click the subscribe button and turn on your notifications to make sure you don't miss out on any new content. I appreciate you tuning in. Let's dive into today's topic. Last week, we talked about being able to recession-proof your finances. And towards the end of the content, we were talking about being able to find the fine balance between investing, saving, paying off debt, and having insurance. So last week, we talked about being able to manage all of that at the same time, but we didn't really get into an example. And I know a lot of you like the examples and what I would personally do in certain situations. So insurance should be considered part of your mandatory expenses. And if you're familiar with my budget setting tool, you know that we have the mandatories and then we have the extras. And anything that's left over in terms of income after the mandatory expenses is called your discretionary income. What I would say is include your minimum debt payments, your living expenses, and your insurance all part as mandatory expenses. And let's say you have $500 left over each month in your discretionary income. That's $500 that you could spend on dining out, clothing, food, expediting your debt payoff, investing, saving, all of that fun stuff. So number one, once you've identified how much money you actually have left over each month after all of your mandatory stuff is taken care of, figure out how much you want to be setting aside towards your financial future versus your financial present. So that would mean, how much do you want to put toward expediting debt, how much you want to put towards savings, how much you want to put towards investing, and then how much you want to put towards everything else like food, dining out, entertainment, concerts, all of that fun stuff. What I would personally do is start with my mandatory extra expenses and then work backwards and see what I have left over in my extras. What I have seen with my clients is if you're able to dedicate $25 extra each month towards your debt payments, in addition to the minimum payments that you're putting each month, that is enough for you to help expedite your debt payoff. And in some cases, pay it off twice as fast. So out of that $500, take $25 off the top and put it towards expediting your debt payoff. The next thing I would do is once you've established how much of an emergency fund you would like to have set aside, let's just say 3 months, for every 1 month that you want to have set aside in savings, expect it to take you about a year to get there. All else equal, right? If there's no other factors that come up, you don't make more income, you don't have higher expenses, all of that. So if you have 3 months that you want to have set aside, take the amount that you want and divide it by 36 payments, right? That's 36 months. Look at that dollar amount. If you can afford that dollar amount and you're comfortable with setting that aside out of your discretionary income, great, go for it. If you can't, do a lower number. That's okay. It's just a place to get started. The point is to set aside at least something towards your emergency fund. I would say bare minimum from your discretionary income should be 10%. So in this case, $50 each month. So now you have $75 already allocated, $25 for debt, $50 for the emergency fund. But again, see if you can make your goal for every 1 month, 1 year in terms of timeline to get there. The next thing I would do is look at investments. Investments is one of those things where you need to work a little bit more on figuring out your end goal that you're working towards, and then you can see what that monthly amount looks like. If you are new here, go back to some of my previous content. I talk about calculating your financial independence number. This is another way of talking about retirement. So this is how you identify your end goal. And then there's some other content, videos, podcasts, worksheets that talk about how you can translate that end goal into a monthly dollar amount, including the expected interest rate that you're going to be receiving. Go back to that previous content. That will tell you how much you need to set aside each month to get to your goal within your desired timeline. If you cannot set aside that dollar amount right now, if it's too much, again, any little bit helps. If you can, match what you're setting aside for savings. That should be your bare minimum goal. So 25 extra towards debt, 50 towards savings, bare minimum, 50 towards investing, bare minimum. Try to make those your goals, okay? And this is based off of the fact that you have, let's just say, $500 in discretionary or leftover income each month. At that point, you now have $425 left over in your budget. And this is where you really get to make differences in your financial future. You can set aside how much you want for dining out, clothing, entertainment, vacations, all of those extra things. But as you're allocating those dollar amounts, ask yourself what is truly a priority to you. You want to make sure that where you're spending your money aligns with you and your goals. And if you need more information on that, go through some of my earlier videos. It's a great opportunity for you to identify what truly is your priorities. And remember, that's all that a budget is. It's a monetary reflection of your priorities. So as you are approaching this time of uncertainty, or maybe you're already living in a time of uncertainty, whether there's a recession coming or not, you should still have your finances recession-proof or financial obstacle-proof. And these are the things that you can do. Revisit last week's content, see the 5 easy steps that you can take, go through this piece of content again as well, and see how you can take your money to the next level and find that happy balance. If you have any questions, I am always happy to chat with you. Seriously, I love talking about money and making you feel empowered through that financial education. So if you ever have any questions, you can schedule a free call with me. Other than that, I hope you'll have a great week, and I'll catch you next time.
Thank you so much for listening and allowing me to be part of your financial journey. As a thank you for tuning in, I'm offering you first access to special tools and information. Simply subscribe to my newsletter found on my website at millsknowsbills.com, where you can find my free budget setting tool, workshops, and so much more. You can also connect with me on social. I have Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest. All links are available in the show notes. I appreciate you tuning in and spreading the love. Thank you for all the positive comments on social, and you know I love seeing your 5-star reviews as well. Always remember, mo money, no problems. I'll see you next time.